about a question that I've been getting asked repeatedly for I don't know how long. I've tried to answer it pretty well. I've got more knowledge on it now than I did have as far as what it's actually burning. Ever since we bought it, I've gotten a better idea what it's actually going to do or does on the DEF fluid, how much it's going to burn in that system. I also want to talk about the last video. There was a lot of questions about blowers and different options and stuff. Kind of want to go over that a little bit because I had a very good response out of that as far as people's curiosity and everything. First of all, the DEF fluid on the Massey Ferguson 4710 tractor that I have. That tractor, to start out with, just has a DOC on it, diesel oxidation catalyst. It does not have a DPF, does not have an EGR. So it's probably going to burn a little bit more DEF fluid than most other tractors because it just has the one system that cleaning the exhaust gases coming out of the tractor. It does not have an EGR and it does not have a DPF burning diesel soot or diesel particulate. So it's probably going to burn a little more than tractors that have all three systems. Tractors that have all three systems, the EGR stands for exhaust gas recirculation. That means that the tractor is basically taking a pipe and funneling your exhaust gases back through your engine when it sees that they're not meeting the requirements for emissions, which basically means all the time. Especially if you're working it hard. So you're pumping exhaust back through your engine. It's not good to do. It blows soot and everything back through your pistons, everything. Valves and your fresh intake valves, so it's basically pumping soot back through the engine, and that causes a lot of problems later on. Not to mention you have to clean that EGR valve pretty regularly to make sure that it does not stop working, and then you have to buy a new one, which costs a lot of money. The next thing is the DPF filter. The diesel particulate filter is a filter that burns soot that comes out of your exhaust. The Massey Ferguson 4700 series does not have a diesel particulate filter. This is the filter that costs thousands of dollars to replace after so many hours, and that gets extremely hot and can cause fires if hay or something touches it. Not to mention you have to deal with burn-offs, which can, depending on the manufacturer, the tractor, and everything else, can result in either it doing it while it runs. I've heard of them doing it and your tractor has to be parked and away from everything, and when it goes into it you cannot do anything else. Or once it starts, on just about all of them, you have to leave the tractor running at full RPM, whether you are just stacking hay and you're done within 5 minutes, but the tractor still needs to go through its regen for another 30 minutes possibly. You have to leave that, or longer, you have to leave that tractor sitting there running that entire time at full throttle, and you have a choice of staying with it or leaving it running while you're gone. And when it does fill up, which it will fill up because it's a filter, eventually they do fill up and clog and they cannot burn all the stuff out that's in them. So eventually they will have to be replaced, unlike the DOC that is on the Massey. So you're going to have to take the tractor to a service place, replace it, because they have to go on the computer and reset all they have to go in there and reset the basically, to make it simple, reset the sensors and stuff for the new filter and everything when it gets put on, so that way the system works properly and doesn't prematurely fail. Now, you're going to have to do that. which is going to cost you a lot of money. Not to mention replacing the filter. To replace the filter, you're looking anywhere, I've heard, from $2,000 all the way up to north of $8,000, depending on the tractor and everything else. The hours-wise that they last varies on the tractor. It's not that many hours when you're paying that kind of money. I think it's like anywhere from 2,000 hours, depending on how much particulate matter the tractor bit makes, to probably maybe 4,000 if you're lucky, before you have to replace them. I know a lot about these because my truck has one. They used to be over $2,500 a pop. Mine was going out on my truck every 25,000 miles. So, a lot of money. Plus, it had an EGR. It did not have the DOC, or the DEF fluid SCR system on it, on my truck. That was pre that system. So I didn't have to pay that expense. But now, all the modern systems generally have an EGR, a DPF, and a DOC SCR system, which is the DEF fluid running through the DOC. The DOC is basically, which is what the Massey Ferguson 4700 series has. It's the only thing on the tractor. It does not have an EGR, does not have a DPF. It has a DOC, which has steel plate, or it has these plates in it made out of material. From my understanding, they don't wear out. The DEF fluid squirts in the top of the exhaust. It never goes through the engine. It's only on the exhaust side, so it never has to go engine to engine. It doesn't affect the engine side. It squirts it in the top of that. It goes down through the exhaust and into the DOC. The DOC then has those plates in it that causes a chemical reaction. There's no extra heat. It is just normal exhaust temperature, so you don't have to deal with extreme heat that the DPF puts on, that causes fires that everybody's afraid of. Not to mention all the other headaches that I named it. So you're just having it goes through there and it causes a chemical reaction when it hits those plates in there, and it breaks down the emissions gases in the exhaust fluid. It's the most simplified, inexpensive version of the DPF or emission system on these diesel engines that I have found to date. I have a lot of experiences with these systems. Dealt with them quite a bit over the years, from my truck to working on other stuff, and it's the best system I've seen. A lot of other manufacturers, as far as other stuff, is using something similar to this, and it's out there. And it's, but the downside to the system is it's going to burn a little more DEF fluid than other systems, but you don't have to deal with all that other crap. It's not burning that much more, but it is a little more. Now, we're going to get into what it's actually burning. My tractor is burning 1.5 gallons of DEF fluid to 26 gallons of fuel. The tank on the Massey 4710 holds 27.7 gallons of diesel fuel. This is off of Massey Ferguson spec sheet on their website. You can look it up. It holds 27.7 gallons of diesel fuel, basically 28 gallons. The DEF tank holds 2.6 gallons of DEF fuel. Now, when I've run out of tank of diesel fuel, when I'm working it hard, it burns this. When I'm in really thick hay pulling that Klaus 10-foot conditioner, it will burn 26 gallons of fuel to 1.5 gallons of DEF fluid. It shows on the gauge to only have 1/3 left in the tank, but obviously it has an entire gallon left, which is more than 1/3 or 1/4. It'll show 1/4 to 1/3, but the most I've ever had to put in it is about 1.5 gallons. I don't know why it shows that, but maybe it's a fail-safe in the system. They want you to make sure you get it filled back up before it does run out, so they have quite a bit of extra in there just to make sure, so that way if you're rocking and rolling over rough ground, it always can pick the fluid up. Maybe that's why. Don't know. But I can tell you that that's what it's burning when I'm really working it hard. Now, like the other day when I was hauling that hay, I hauled probably 150 rolls that day with that tractor and trailer at 15 rolls at a time. I was driving anywhere from half a mile to a mile from the field back to where we were stacking the hay. And it burnt a little less than half a tank of diesel that day. And it was still showing full on the DF. The first bar of the DF was starting to blink. So it depends on how hard you're working. You can probably get 2 tanks of diesel fuel, which would be, well, I mean, basically 28 gallons of diesel through it in a gallon and a half. If you're not working it that hard, on the best case scenario, worst case scenario, you're burning a gallon and a half of DEF fluid per tank. Now, the worst mine has ever done, it burnt a tank of DEF fluid, I mean out, the light came on, to a tank of diesel fuel. One day I was cutting hay all day, and I run it that low because the truck was a long ways from me. I was trying to get done in that field without having to go back to the truck. Well, that's what it ran, and that was the worst it's done, was a tank of DEF to a tank of diesel fuel. Now, that being said, that was with Traveler's DEF fluid at Tractor Supply in the 5-gallon bucket or tub. Same thing. It drank that stuff. I mean, it literally drank that stuff like it was water. And a lot of what breaks down how much DEF fluid you're going to burn in any system on any tractor is the quality of the DEF. They only have a shelf life of a year for the DEF, so it sits there longer than that, it starts to break down. So if whoever you bought it from didn't move it, or maybe it's sat in their warehouse too long before it got to the store, the quality falls off after that point, and it's not basically as good anymore, and it's going to burn more than it should because it takes more. It's basically like having watered down diesel fuel. So that's an issue. The other thing is how hard you work it. The next thing is the diesel fuel you're running through. And if you're running a real dirty diesel fuel through your tractor, it's going to take more DEF fluid to get the emissions under control. And what I mean by that is, like, our off-road diesel fuel that we get from the company, from what I've been told, is ultra low sulfur. These new tractors, like the trucks, 18-wheelers, pickup trucks, whatever, that has these systems, you're supposed to run ultra low diesel fuel, which is mostly what's out there. Off-road diesel fuel, every now and then I've caught labels that actually still said just low sulfur rather than ultra low sulfur. I've heard that you can still get low sulfur, but now I don't know if that, I think just about everything's went to ultra low, which is what ours is. The company that we buy our diesel fuel in bulk from told my grandfather, he's the one that orders it, that whenever the government changed the regular highway diesel over, they just changed everything over then and just dyed it red. That they were getting. I don't know about everywhere else. If you are just running low sulfur, it could cause it to burn more DF fluid. Or it could, if you got water in your fuel in your tanks, could be another thing that could cause it. But those three things is what leads up to how much it's going to burn. So you got three different things: the quality of the DEF fluid, how hard you're working it, and the quality of the diesel fuel you're running and what kind of diesel fuel. That's going to affect it. Now, the systems are going to burn a little more than the others because, like I said, it doesn't have the other two things cleaning what comes out of it like most tractors do. But you don't have all the headaches and the expenses of keeping the other stuff running. It burns a little more, but not much more from what I've seen from everybody talking about what theirs is burning. Now, what does DEF fluid cost? I've heard numbers anywhere from, if you can buy it at a truck stop where they sell it in bulk out of a pump, just like a diesel pump, I've heard it being in like $1 a gallon range, which is, if you burn a gallon and a half per tank of diesel fuel, that's nothing. Really, it isn't. Now, the DEF fluid things that I buy, I don't burn enough DEF fluid just because we just have the one tractor with it right now. Probably in the future we're going to be looking at buying a way to hold a bulk of it. Maybe buy it in 55-gallon drums. You can buy it cheaper that way. You can get you a tank, have it delivered, I think, and refilled or whatnot, and you can save yourself money that way. But like me, the more I'm burning, I'm just using the little 2.5-gallon jugs that you buy everywhere. The Tractor Supply Traveler DEF fluid, I would not recommend it to anybody. From what I've seen, it's terrible. But the best I've found has been the Blue Def. There is another brand that I found was pretty good that I use, that's in a white jug, or a clear jug with a white label. I cannot remember for the life of me the name of it. It was just something I picked up one day at a gas station. A lot of the gas stations carry it. I think it's like diesel something or another. I forget what it is. But the actual peak DEF fluid that you see at all the park stores, Walmart, wherever, that's probably the best I've ran so far in it. That other one that I did come across, I put in it twice, I can't remember the name of it, was just as good. That stuff runs anywhere from, I've seen it from $10 something a thing to $15. Most of the time you see it about 12 bucks. And most of the places that I've been to around here, it's generally around $12. I shop at BJ's some, the wholesale place, and they have it there. I bought it yesterday for $11 a jug. It's $10 and like 99 cents, so basically $11. The jug. So you figure that, I mean, you divide it up, and you're only using a 2.5-gallon jug. If I'm working the crap out of the tractor, I'm using a gallon and a half out of it. So really, you're spending probably what, $6-7 a tank on DEF fluid when you're working the crap out of it the way it is right now. That's not that bad. But if you can find a truck stop or buy it in bulk, you can get it a lot cheaper. But if you could find, if that's true at the truck stops, and you can get it for like $1 something a gallon, that's nothing. If you got a truck stop near you on a major highway that sells it like that, you can go fill you up some containers with it that's meant for DEF fluid. You take the peak containers, like you buy it in, you take them and refill them, and then have that. I mean, that's just a couple dollars or something. To run, or $1.50, or a couple dollars, $2 or $3 to run a day. I mean, that's nothing compared to what diesel is. Diesel expense, I mean, it adds up, but it's not that bad. Like everybody complains about in the pickup truck, you can run probably two tanks of diesel fuel out of the truck. I had a buddy of mine tell me the other day, he runs like 2 or 3 tanks of diesel fuel out of his truck. I mean, you're talking 1,000 something miles travel for one of those little totes. And that's not a whole lot of money. And then they don't hold nothing in those tanks. Those tanks, most of the tanks are generally 3 to 5 gallons. The Massey tank's actually small, and it seems like you have to fill it up all the time. Is one thing I've noticed, but it's not that bad. Now the blowers, I gotta ask a lot of questions about the blowers. Well, we're already at 19 minutes. I'll cover that in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Hope this helps people. I don't like this emission scrap, but it's here to stay. There's nothing we can do about it. If you take it off your tractor, you void your warranty, as long as you have a warranty. Once the warranty's gone, well, you can do whatever you want. If you can find somebody to buy it from that's reasonable on those systems. The other thing you're going to run into is if the computer goes bad, when you reprogram them, that can cause some issues there, possibly, but is the risk worth the reward? Maybe. But that's something that after your warranty goes off to consider doing. But as for people that's got warranty on their tractors that don't want to fool with it, that's what this video is for. So thank y'all for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.